to my channel, or if you're new around here, welcome to my channel. It's nice to meet you. My name is Harriet, and today we're going to be doing another tier ranking video for some characters of a TV show that I really love. I'm going to be doing the Vampire Diaries. Some of the things that I'm going to be doing in this video you might not agree with, some of them you may, but it's all relative at the end of the day. It's not a big deal, it's just a bit of fun. Somebody else's list that I'm using and their categories for the tiers, I'm also using somebody else's because I'm not that original. I didn't come up with that. I'm going to go on to that now, I guess. I'll show you the categories. So at the top of the list, some of the characters that I think are the best is going to be the truly immortal tier. So that's like top tier, the superior characters that I love and would die for. And then under that we have the cure. So they're not quite top tier, but I still love them, but they're not just quite, they're just not as amazing as the characters at the top are. And then we have Daylight Ring, this sort of middle ground. I don't mind them, but I wouldn't want them to perish if they did become a vampire, so I would give them a Daylight Ring. They're okay characters, but they're not my favourite. Just under that is Snap Their Neck, characters that kind of bug me, characters that I wish were not in the show, but they are, so it's not a big deal that they are to me. They're just not my favourites, if you know what I mean. And then right under that, right at the bottom, is the prison world, characters that I hate with a passion, that I do not wish to be in the show, and kind of think that they do not deserve to have happy endings, etc. And they either deserve to die or be trapped in the prison world for all of eternity. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and rank them. We'll start off with first person on my list, which coincidentally works quite well because I'm gonna put them in the lowest category, prison world. We're gonna put Stefan Salvatore. I know, controversial, but I don't like him. I never have. From the moment he stepped foot on the screen, I just didn't enjoy his character. I don't see the appeal with his character. I just think he's incredibly toxic, so selfish, just a really mean person, and I just don't enjoy him at all. The only time that I did enjoy him was when he was trapped in the prison world with Bonnie, and that relationship was developing and they bonded. I think that's the only time that he had some sort of redeemable qualities, but he just never seemed to get better and never seemed to learn the consequences of his actions and the mistakes that he made, which he made a lot. And yeah, he just frustrates me. I don't like him, so he's going in the prison world. Let's go ahead and put somebody in the Snap Their Neck category. We'll go with John Gilbert. That is, well, we think he's Elena's uncle, but then he ends up being Elena's birth dad. I don't like him very much. I know in the end he does redeem himself by sacrificing himself to save Elena, but he's just not a very nice person, and I don't particularly enjoy his character that much. That's all I can say about him. In the Daylight Ring category, kind of somewhat controversially, I'm gonna put Elena. She obviously is the main character of the show and everything revolves around her, but that's the reason why I don't like her as much, because she does think the world revolves around her, and I think towards the end of her time on the show before she leaves, where people start like calling her out on the fact that she thinks everything revolves around her and everybody has to drop everything all of the time to suit her needs, and if she's in trouble it's like, oh my god, Elena's got a paper cut, we have to go rescue her. Those kind of things that happen in the show, it kind of bugs me. She is a good character, she's obviously very compassionate, she's very selfless, but I just don't enjoy her as much as I would like. That's not to say that I don't enjoy Nina. She is a great actress, and the fact that she plays 4 characters on the show, and at one point she's on screen as all 4 of those characters in one scene, is just incredible. I commemorate that for her talent in being able to portray that, but I just, yeah, she's a bit of an annoying character to me. She doesn't really deserve to be any higher than that middle ground category, but obviously the storyline is integral to her character being there, so that's why she's in the middle ground and not any lower than that. Okay, let's go on to the Cure. So not quite like up there as one of my favourite characters ever, but I also would not put them any lower. We're gonna go with Rose. Yeah, let's do Rose. She's not in it for very long, but she's a really nice character. She brings out a side to Damon that I do quite enjoy, and I think she is a nice character, but she's not going to go all the way at the top. I wouldn't want her to be like the main character of the show, if you know what I mean. So in the truly immortal category, we are going to put Alaric Saltzman, even though he does not want to be truly immortal because he hates vampires. I love Alaric. He's one of my favourite characters in the whole show. Obviously he goes through a lot of pain and sadness in his time on the show. Some of the things that happen to him he does not deserve. But I just love him. I just think he's a great character. And yeah, from the moment he entered the show, there was like that mysteriousness about him. There was some things that he was doing that kind of made you question whether he was a vampire. But then when we find out his story, I just think, yeah, he's such a great character. I don't think I've cried as hard as when he dies for the first time in the show. I was just like, they cannot be killing off Alaric. Surely he is one of the best characters. So that's why he's going at the top. If ever I was going to have a cat and I was going to have a boy cat, I think I would want to call it Alaric, because he's a great character and it's a great name. So that's why he's at the top. I love him a lot. So now we've got sort of the base characters on all of the categories. We're just going to go ahead and go by who's next in the lineup on my screen. So we have Klaus. I'm going to go with The Cure. He's not quite top tier for me, but he's such an iconic character, especially in the originals. He goes through a lot in his lifetime, and I feel really sad the way that his character ended up in the last season of the originals. But yeah, he definitely does deserve better things to happen to him in his life. I do like him and his relationship with Caroline. I love his relationship with his daughter Hope, even Haley. I love the dynamic between him and his siblings, even though sometimes he can be a bit psychotic in that aspect. He's such an iconic character. He's a great anti-villain. I just think he's great. He's hilarious as well. I think that's another aspect that I like of him. His sarcasm and his way he is just great. So that's why he's going there. Next to him, I'm not going to put Caroline all the way at the top, because I will admit I didn't like her character at all at the beginning of the show. Until she turns, she's like the worst character. I hate her in the beginning of the show. But after she becomes a vampire, I think her life truly becomes set. She is a great character after that point. I feel like the turning point, literally, for her character was that progression into her becoming a vampire, and she becomes a much better person, well-rounded, a lot less selfish when she does become a vampire. And yeah, she really grows into her own. So I think that's a really cool character arc, and I love everything that happens to her after she becomes a vampire. So that's why I'm putting her not quite at the top, because she did annoy me at the beginning, but she will go just next to Klaus in The Cure. Okay, we have Stefan Salvatore. Some people don't really enjoy his character. I love his character. You're either a Stefan or a Damon person. I'm definitely a Stefan person. I think he's hilarious. I love the broodiness. He's very hot. I do enjoy him as a person. Yeah, I know sometimes he can be a bit annoying and whiny in the show. I love him and Delena. I'm definitely a team Delena person. I hate Delena with a mighty passion. I hate everything about that relationship. I just think it's so toxic and just not great. But I do love how sweet Elena and Stefan are together. But I love Stefan. I love Stefan so much. He's a great character. I think he's so amazing as a person. He's very compassionate. He shares a lot of the same sort of characteristics as Elena does. He's very forgiving as well. The amount of stuff that his brother puts him through, and the amount of things that he does have to go through because of the actions that Damon sometimes does without thinking about the consequences. Yeah, that makes him very forgiving and selfless, and obviously right at the end we see that because he literally sacrifices himself for everyone and dies, and I don't think he deserved that. So yeah, I'm gonna put him at the top as truly immortal. He's a great character. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because there are two pictures of what I'm thinking is Katherine Pierce, but I think one of them is supposed to be Tatia, because they both look like Katherine, but the only character on here out of the doppelgangers that isn't pictured is Tatia. The other one is Amara, who is pictured. So I'm gonna say that this is Tatia. I don't really remember enough of her storyline other than the fact that she's a doppelganger. Is she the one that Elijah falls in love with, or is that Amara? I can't remember. Just because I can't really remember who she is, and even though that's definitely Katherine in that picture, we're going to pretend that that's supposed to be Amara. No, Tatia. And we're going to put her in the snap their neck category along with John Gilbert. Katherine Pierce. I do enjoy Catherine's character a lot of the time. I just think she brings a great dynamic to the show. For that reason, I just put her in The Cure. Yeah, even though she does wreak havoc a lot in the show, she's literally the reason that Stefan dies. Yeah, but without her character, I think that this show would be super boring. She's hilarious. The sassiness that she brings, that darkness that she brings to the show as well is just, she's like the iconic ultimate villain of the show. I don't think she deserves to be at the top because of a lot of the things that she does. They are, I don't know, very questionable, but I'm gonna put her just below in The Cure because I do think the character is a great character, but I don't think she should be at the top. Bonnie Bennett, however, does deserve to be at the top because Bonnie Bennett moved over Elena and Stefan. She is the most selfless of the characters. She will do anything for her friends. She is so forgiving and amazing, and she's just a wonderful person. I love the first couple of scenes where she first learns that she's a witch, the scenes with the feathers when she's showing Elena her talent and that she is a witch, and you know that's a constant thing that she goes through throughout the whole show, or her abilities and powers, they're tested all the time. I love her character. I definitely think that she deserved way more happiness than she did. I especially think as well she doesn't deserve having the love of her life, finally finding happiness with Enzo, and having that taken away from her is just so depressing. We should all have a Bonnie Bennett in our lives. I would die for Bonnie Bennett. So I'm going to put Jeremy Gilbert in the snap their neck category. I was just about to put him in the daylight ring category with his sister, but I just don't enjoy Jeremy as a character. Like, what does he bring to the show? Other than like moody, getting high all the time, teenager vibes. Nothing. I know he does become like the hunter, and that is an important storyline, especially when they go to find the cure and everything. He's got the map or whatever on his skin, but like he's just such an annoying character. So next up we have Enzo. I don't know where to put Enzo. I don't like love him as a character, but I also don't hate him enough to put him any lower than Daylight Ring. So I feel like maybe I might put him in The Cure. He's not bad as a character. Obviously some of the things he does, especially when he's under the Siren's control, but obviously he can't help a lot of the things he does. He does go through a lot. He was one of those experimental vampires. I don't love him enough to be at the top. I don't hate him enough to be putting him in the middle. But yeah, he's a great character. I love his character arc. I love his relationship with Damon. I love his relationship with Bonnie. So yeah, I think he's a great introduction to the show. He's great. Tyler Lockwood. I don't enjoy Tyler's character at all. So he's gonna go at the bottom with Damon Salvatore. Yeah, I just think he's just not a nice person, especially towards the start of the season. He's like stereotypical jock character, super mean. Obviously we find out that his dad is a little bit, I don't know, aggressive towards him sometimes, and he does have those traits because of his dad, and we find out obviously it's because he is a werewolf. I do feel really sad when he does eventually get killed off, but other than that I just don't enjoy him as a character. Okay, the next character I adore, and that is Kai Parker, and because of that reason I'm gonna put him right at the top. I know, controversial considering what he does in his season that he gets introduced in, but he's just hilarious. I love him so much as a villain. He's my favourite villain of the whole show. He's just, I just think he's a great actor, and I love everything about this character. He's just a great addition to the show. I love him way more than a lot of the characters that I should love more than him. Next to him we're going to put Lexi. She deserved so much better. I think she should have been in the show more, but she was a great friend to Stefan. She helped him out a lot with his Ripper tendencies, and I think she was so sweet, and I don't think she deserved to die the way she did, so I hate Damon for that. But yeah, she's gonna go at the top. Matt. I'm gonna put him with Elena in the Daylight Ring category. He's okay, I understand why he's in the show. He's the token human in the show, but he's not my favourite character. He obviously has some use, I suppose, in the show. Maybe? I don't know. Would the show be that good without him? Probably. Would they miss him? Probably not. But yeah, I don't hate him enough to put him any lower. I do like his relationship with Caroline. I think that's sweet, and I like that he decides to try and become a sheriff to try and rid the town of the darkness and things like that. But obviously his whole demeanour of hating vampires and everything, even though 90% of his friends are vampires, is just a bit like, what are you doing? Haley Marshall, we're gonna put here in The Cure. Obviously we see a lot more of her character in the originals. I think she's a great character. She's such a strong character. I think yeah, she's a great addition to the show, and I love the way that they introduced her in the Vampire Diaries to then set it up ready for the originals. And I love her whole storyline, her, you know, becoming a hybrid and being this powerful, badass woman, and she would do anything for her family. She's great as a character. I love her. I don't love, however, Anna, one of the original sort of 1864 vampires. She comes into the show. She's actually, I'm rewatching the Vampire Diaries at the moment. She's in it just at the moment now, where she comes and like tries to befriend Jeremy and then tries to trick him into doing things for her so that she can get into the tomb to get her mother out. I think the way that she manipulates people just to get what she wants and that kind of thing is just not great, and she annoys me every time she comes on screen, and that happens every time I rewatch the show, so I don't like her as a character. Similarly, Vicky Donovan, also don't like her in the slightest. She's a very annoying character, so for that reason I'm putting her in the present world. I know she was the first human of all of the main sort of characters that we introduced to in the beginning of the show to turn into a vampire, but every time she's on screen, similarly to Anna, I'm just like, it's just the worst character. I don't think she should be in the show. Sorry. Jenna, Aunt Jenna, she's at the top, obviously. She's such a great character. She obviously went through a lot. Her sister and her brother-in-law died, and she ended up being sole guardian of these two teenagers when she's still too young herself. I think she's a great character. She's so sweet. Her relationship with Alaric was really wholesome, but then Klaus killed her, so that's annoying. She deserves more, and she has my heart. She's a wonderful character. Jo Parker also deserves better. I don't think she should be all the way at the top though, but I'm going to put her in The Cure. That means I just put her brother who killed her and her whole family pretty much above her, but I don't care. I got really sad when they killed her off. She's a great character. I loved her relationship with Alaric. I don't think Alaric deserved that, and she didn't deserve that either, so yeah, she's gonna go in The Cure. She deserved better, but she's not quite my favourite characters. Who is this? April? Gonna put her in the Daylight Ring category. I don't care about her enough to put her any higher. If I'm being honest, I can't really 100% remember. It's something to do with the church, right? And then all of those people that ended up sacrificing themselves. Her dad was one of those, right? Yeah, she's okay. Not my favourite. Again, can't really remember her storyline completely. Would I be sad if she wasn't in the show? Probably not, but yeah, she's not as bad as some of the characters that are below her, so she's going in that middle category. Kepsia. No, I don't like Kepsia. She can go in the snap their neck category. She's just really annoying as a character, so she's going in that category just for that reason. I don't think I need to explain myself further for that. I don't know who this guy is. Is he one of the vampires that comes out of the tomb? I don't remember. So because of that, I'm going to put him in the prison world just because I don't know who he is. I don't recognise him. I'm sorry I don't know who that is. Like I said, this is not my list. And then we have Liv Parker. She also deserved better. Yeah, she's got that sass about her that I like about characters sometimes. She doesn't deserve the ending that she did have. Obviously she's a bit, you know, she's a bit standoffish at first, but we see the reason why she is like that. Let's go ahead and put her brother just below her, just because her brother annoyed me a little bit more than she did, and that I suppose is fair because he's right next to Jo in that too. Again, don't think he should have ended up the way he did, but it happened. And then we have, oh my god, Lizforbes, Sheriff Forbes, but she's just so wholesome. I love her as a character. Sobbed my eyes out when they killed her off, because in a supernatural show, for her to die of something so human as cancer, and something that no matter how much magic or vampire blood you give her, there's no way to cure that, is just so sad. I love her relationship with Damon as well. I think that's a great dynamic. Her relationship with Caroline then towards the middle and the end of her time on the series was great. She kind of grounded a lot of the characters as well, and made them sort of have that humanity about them for a lot of situations that happened in Mystic Falls in such a crazy supernatural town. Carol Lockwood, I don't really enjoy her very much. We'll put her in the snap their neck category. That's all I have to say about that. Sybil is the worst character. She just annoyed me every time she came on screen, just because no matter what you did, you couldn't get rid of her. At least with other villains, there was always some sort of loophole, but no matter how many times they tried, she just wouldn't leave. And I just hated her so much. So she's going in that category for that reason. Cole, is actually the only other original apart from Klaus that's here, which is weird. Like Rebecca and Elijah aren't here, and I love those two as well. Cole is definitely one of my favourite originals. I think he's hilarious. He just doesn't care. He doesn't want to be part of that family. He just wants to be a witch. But yeah, I do like that character. But he's not right at the top for me, but he is up there. Amara is gonna go sort of middle ground, but she's not like my favourite character, but she doesn't deserve to be lower than that. And then we have Grams. She deserves so much better too. She was such a great character, and the way that she sacrificed herself for Mystic Falls to try and protect her friends and her family from the vampires coming out of the tomb was just, I don't know, it was just so sad when she did die. And she was like the first character in that way that we do care about that did die. So yeah, that is where we have everyone on this list. We have Alaric, Stefan, Bonnie, Kai, Lexi, Jenna, Liv, Liz, and Grams, Sheila Bennett at the Truly Immortal category. In the Cure we have Rose, Klaus, Caroline, Katherine, Enzo, Haley, Joe, Luke, and Cole. Then in the Daylight Ring category we have Elena, Matt, April, and Amara. And then in the Snap Their Neck category we have John, Gilbert, it looks like Catherine, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be Tatia, Jeremy, Gilbert, Kepsia, Carol Lockwood. And then in the worst category, the characters I hate in the present world are Damon Salvatore, Tyler Lockwood, Anna, Vicky, the guy that I don't know the name of, and Sybil. So yeah, that's all we have to go with today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if you get offended by some of the opinions I have about Vampire Diaries characters, but I don't care. If you want to see more videos like this, I do enjoy these ranking videos. I want to do more, maybe not just characters. I might do movies, TV shows, songs, bands that I also enjoy at some point. But if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe. That would mean a lot. And I will see you next time in another video. Goodbye.